Hello everybody, you're tuned in to Cragcore. So, today we're going to be going on about these new jabs. Now, I saw the other day that there is a new jab, a revolutionary life-saving jab that's just come out. I call it a jab because that's what they're referring to it as, and I'm sure that's by no mistake. I say they, you know, the media, the mainstream, you know, you know who I mean. So there's this new jab, this revolutionary, in their own words, new jab that lowers cholesterol, that apparently will cut heart disease, things like strokes and stuff like this down by a very, very significant amount. Now, very well timed, wouldn't you say? So there's an awful lot of pushback with regards to the the current situation and the jab that goes with that. So in my opinion, in my own humble opinion, I feel as though it's all about changing the public opinion towards jabs in general. Because if you can basically come out with a new drug, a new jab, you know, administered in the form of an injection, a medicine in the form of an injection, that is extremely good for people and it will ultimately save their lives, then what you're doing is you're changing public opinion towards that particular administration of medicine. And what's been the, you know, what's been the big thing while all of this has been going on? The biggest comparison that people have made? Well, people have made comparisons to, you know, the virus. And, it's, you know, when you can't say something for what it is, that's when you know actually there's something wrong going on, isn't it? You know, that's when you know. But anyway, what you've got here is a virus, and people, and the death rates surrounding this, and people have compared that to the death rates of things like heart disease. People have said, oh, you know, it isn't even as severe as heart disease, which technically, you know, I don't know, but a lot of people said it wasn't, so perhaps it wasn't, perhaps it hasn't been. I've seen certain figures and tables of evidence and what have you, and it does allude to that this virus, this new virus, hasn't been as severe as things like heart disease. But then all of a sudden, what they're doing is quashing two birds with one boot, you know, one totalitarian boot, by basically acknowledging the severity of that which people have been making comparisons with, and also offering up a positive solution for that in the same way as they have offered up a solution towards the that which had been brought into comparison, i.e., you know, this new virus. So, in my opinion, it's got everything to do with changing public perception towards and public bias towards jabs in general. You know, I mean, you've got to look at the timings of all of this. It seems to be alluding to that. I mean, so that's pretty much it. You know, as we move through all of this, the more that you see, the more you realise, actually, you know, you can see this grand plan, and they're clutching at straws at the minute. I feel as though the more they do, the more they open our eyes, because those that can see are able, therefore, to see more. It's not like before, where there was a few things here and there, and what that did was it allowed us to have a couple of little tidbits to talk about. But because they were so few and far between, it made them seem insignificant. And when you point these things out to, you know, to those that do not see, I say do not instead of can't, because anybody can. So when you point them out to these people, because they seem insignificant and so, far spread out, what happens is they go unnoticed and they go, no one really cares, basically. In simple terms, no one really cares. But the more that these people do, the more there is to actually show the rest of the world. And what that does is it creates something that is no longer able to be ignored. Because people that want to be ignorant can only be ignorant by choice for so long before they literally have to say, okay, this, I have to try and accept this now. Because there's only so many coincidences that you can have before people stop seeing them as coincidences and seeing them as part of a plan. It's a bit like a court case, I've used this reference before throughout all of this. It's a bit like a court case, What happens is, if you've got a few sporadic pieces of circumstantial evidence, the jury's going to say, well, fuck that, there's not enough. And a solicitor or a lawyer or what have you wouldn't, necessarily present that, because they'd say, well, this isn't enough. We need more. That's why police and these undercover operations will hold out for long periods of time so they can gather more intel, more information, more evidence. Because what it does then is when they present that, it presents a stronger case. So ultimately, right now, the more that these people do, the more coincidences, air quotes, that happen, the more it is unlikely to actually be coincidence at all. So the very nature that these people are going out of their way now to do these things, such as change, obviously, it is an obvious attempt at changing public opinion towards the administration of medicine via the form of injection, by all of the the means and the reasons that I said previously, in my own humble opinion. But it's obvious that that's what they're doing, and the fact that they're doing it proves that they know that they've got to, because these people wouldn't do anything that they don't have to do, because they also know that by doing so they are literally adding another piece of evidence to the court case against them. So they're not going to do anything that's unnecessary. They're only going to do those things that they see as being a necessary way of trying to hold on to the situation, which is them actually losing control. But actually, as they continue to try and gain control, by the very design of that, by the very nature of what they're doing, thus showing people and giving people more evidence against them, they are ultimately losing more control every time. Because by this, more and more people will open their eyes and they will see the bigger picture, which is fantastic. And I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about this very subject, basically saying that this is what's going on, and they are literally beholden to their own game now, and they are falling, their whole regime is falling apart because of their own rules, which means it was destined to fail all along. And I'm all about that. I praise that. I think, you know what, bring it the hell on. Bring it on, and bring it on quick. All we need to do now is weather the storm and try and ride it out as best we can. Prepare. And also, by that what I mean is, prepare yourself physically. I've said this on a few occasions now, but also prepare yourself mentally and spiritually. Because it's going to get thick. It's going to get tough for a while. And what we have to do is just try and get through that. And the better way to get through it is together. So, let's just try and accept that we're all valid individuals. We've all got a good opinion because it's an opinion. And we're all part of the same design. And, we're all valid. So let's just get on with it. Let's just accept everybody else for their difference of opinion. Stop arguing and stop fighting with one another. And just try and get on as best we can. Because our division is only created by these people that are giving us the reasons to be divided. You know, and that's basically as simple as it is. But if we can see this, the more people that are able to see this, the more us that can see, are able to put this out and highlight this and shine light on it, the better it will be, and the more unity we will then ultimately have. So on that, I'm going to finish there, and I'm going to say, this is Cragcore. I'm signing off on a very positive note. Let's move forward into the future here, and together, positively. And I'm going to wish love and peace to all things everywhere. Peace.